Hello, hello, hello. Like, share, subscribe.
Don't forget to like, sub, and share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for everybody who subscribed. Finally hit 4,000 subscribers. Welcome to everybody who's new who subscribed. And also welcome to everybody who's already been here. Welcome home. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also thank you to channel members. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the support. I want to circle back to the idea that there's no wire in the cords and the outlets are fake. And I made a video previously that said no wires and fake outlets and that everything is powered wirelessly. I still believe that. In this theory, I believe that everything is powered wirelessly from an energy source in the walls of the tunnels. The same it that Clara referred to, the same it that Ethan referred to, the same it that Fatima referred to. I believe all of them are referring to the same it. I believe that it feeds off of the energy in the cave, and the feeding acts like an electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disables electronics like flashlights and lamps. That is why, in my opinion, in this theory, all a theory, that the lamp in the Matthews home was flickering, even the light was flickering. I know previous video I said it may have been Julie, chapter walking, maybe, maybe not. More than likely that the lamp in the Matthews home was flickering and the light in the hallway when Tabitha went to go dig, and Jade's flashlight was flickering while he was navigating the tunnels, what we also call the cave, is because I believe that as Tabitha and Jade were getting closer to a chamber where the teddy bears' bodies were kept in like a crypt where their corpses are, the energy from those corpses started to kind of flicker as the children were waking up. So I believe that Jade and Tabitha getting either closer to the tunnels like Tabitha did while digging, or like Jade did while navigating the tunnels, and he's getting closer to the corpses, as both of them who are connected to the children get closer to their corpses, the energy that the corpses emit, that I believe it feeds off of, all a theory, that energy source somewhat gets cut off as the children are waking up. And now that the children are not only woken up as far as their spirits, but since Jade and Tabitha remember who they come from, I believe that it's going to be more of the energy source that their corpses emit is going to be cut off, and they're going to lose power in the homes and power in other things, including feeding it. And in my opinion, that wireless powering of the home may be the best theory, is the reason why the homes are powered. And so the homes, like the Matthews home, for example, was built directly on top of the cave painting. So I don't think it's a coincidence that as Tabitha dug in her basement and then hit a hairline fracture and the ground collapsed, I don't think it's a coincidence that the area that she came from as far as the hole was directly over the cave paintings. I believe these large areas in the cave are chambers, and in those chambers, they had areas that were blocked off with sticks, which I believe are crypts. So as Tabitha and Victor are navigating the tunnels, they get to a chamber and they see these sticks. Tabitha sees a hallucination of one of the ghoulish children. So this ghoulish child, in my theory, this ghoulish child is deceased, but this is the first time she sees a hallucination of the child, and her being down there, her energy connected with the energy of the spirits of the teddy bears, of the ghoulish children, and woke them up. And that's the reason why she saw this. Another time that we've seen those same type of crypts with the sticks is when Jade was down there navigating the tunnels. He went to a chamber, and that's when he had the vision of the ghoulish children on the slabs of rock looking up saying and cooey. He sees the chambers right here, and I think that he interacted with a hallucination of the ghoulish children in the past on the slabs of rock because he was down there. So the ghoulish children were woken up by Tabitha being down there, and they're interacting with both Jade and Tabitha because of who Jade and Tabitha come from as far as reincarnation, the ability for the creatures to live forever, to be brought back to life, comes from the power of it, and it gets its power from the corpses of the teddy bears that are in these crypts that are sealed off. So in theory, Tabitha digging the hole and going down to the tunnels and the chambers freed the children from being confined in these crypts as far as their spirits. If going down there freed the children, to save the children would mean you would have to, in my opinion, probably destroy all of the homes, including Colony House, and destroy the tower. Remember when I said the previous part of this video that the children were woken up by Tabitha digging in her basement and going down to the tunnels and navigating them and eventually going to the crypt where she saw the hallucination of the ghoulish child. I also believe that her home, the Matthews home, being demolished also allowed the spirits to be freed from where they were captive in the crypt. This comes from atlasobscura.com, in search of the origins of Native American grave houses in Oklahoma. So from takes place in Middle America, small town America. And there's an indigenous cultural knowledge closely guarded for a reason. The idea of the grave house is simple. A structure built over a grave to serve as a home for the spirit. What I'm believing is that every structure in Frumville, including Colony House, the clinic, the church, the sheriff station, every structure is on top of roots that the children poured their hope into that turned into the symbol. During the ritual or sacrifice, you got the children on the slabs of rock. They're looking up, they're saying Nkui Nkui, they're pouring their hope or energy into the roots that turns into the symbol. The symbol turns into faraway trees. So these roots were turned into symbol, and then the faraway tree was created. But when Jade goes down there, we see roots. So I think what happened was the man in the yellow suit, the original townspeople, the cult, they saw that the roots were being turned into symbols, maybe even the faraway trees, and they wanted to prevent that from happening. They started to put stuff on top of the roots to prevent them from becoming faraway trees, to somewhat cut off the children from pouring their energy into the roots and taking over the forest. And whatever they initially tried to do didn't work, and they maybe used a technique that the Native Americans used with putting spirits inside of homes by building houses on top of graves, and that allowed them to prevent faraway trees from being created, and even prevented the energy that the children were emitting with pouring their hope into the roots from becoming a problem for it in the evil side. They started to build structures on top of the roots, which prevented faraway trees from being created and prevented the forest from becoming greater to create a bigger problem. And I think that to combat that, the children who control the forest and maybe control aspects of Frumville created the trap that started to not only get victims and trap them inside of Frumville, but also kept the creatures, the original townspeople, and everything that was already inside of Frumville, inside of the township, from leaving. The evil side started building structures on top of the roots to prevent them from being faraway trees, to prevent the forest from growing. The children and the forest itself created the trap that is Frumville, maybe even had the tree fall over that you see on Fallen Tree Road to prevent them from leaving, as somewhat of a way to contain and control the evil presence. All right, let's take a break. Now a word from the sponsor of this video.
And that's you.
So we have a super thanks from B. Brock VA. Sends a super thanks. I appreciate it. You are appreciated. Thank you for the super thanks. If you want to donate to the channel, if you want to support, you can hit the super thanks that's located next to the subscribe button. You can also send a donation through Cash App. That's $Spade Parkland. Please and thank you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, including sharing to your YouTube community tab. Now back to the broadcast. And so I think that's the reason why that even though they poured hope into the roots and the roots became the symbol, why there's no more symbol, but it's back to roots because they built on top of the symbol that would have turned into a faraway tree. By that logic of the children being freed, by the Matthews house being destroyed, and Tabitha going down into the tunnels and navigating it and going into the chamber, that would mean that when Henry was explaining to Tabitha that Miranda began hearing voices of children calling out to her, asking to be saved from the tower, and when Victor and Tabitha looked inside the trunk of Miranda's vehicle and they saw a drawing of a lighthouse, and Victor said that Eloise told him that her mother told Eloise that that's where Miranda was going the night that she went missing, or that she lost her life. And it was to go to the children locked in the tower. That tower that has children locked in it may actually have children maybe at the bottom of it, maybe the top, where their corpses are there and their corpses are emitting out energy that the tower uses. And in order to save the children and free the children, you got to not only destroy Colony House and the rest of the structures in town, but maybe even the lighthouse, which is also known as the tower. Based off of this theory and this logic, that means when Jim was on the radio and the man in the yellow suit told him that Tabitha should not be digging that hole, he could have also, instead of just being threatening, he could have also been saying that if she digs the hole, the ghoulish children would start to haunt her, which they did. And it wasn't until they discovered that the numbers on the paper and the bottles on the faraway tree were musical notes and they played it, that the ghoulish children were no longer hostile to Tabitha. Maybe the children's spirits get freed every time a version of Tabitha and or Jade navigate the tunnels. And that's the reason why Jasper was down there having tea time before Victor went and got him, because Christopher went down there to free the children and ended up losing his life. Jasper was left behind. And because the cycle had ended, the children went back to being in captivity. The hope from the children poured into the roots that created the symbol, that created the faraway trees, Colony House, and the homes in this theory. In order to trap the children and maybe even use their energy, homes were built on top of the children's tombs in the tunnels. So what do you think? What do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share to your social media, subscribe, click notification bell. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.
Future's not ours to see. Kiss her eyes.